Hey everybody, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, and I've got the Team Marin 2. This is a no-nonsense hardtail that's perfect for the high school mountain bike racer. I say that, I'm 53 years old, and I really am impressed with this bike. So really, for anybody looking to do some mountain bike racing on a hardtail, there's a lot of advantages to a hardtail out on the race course. I know, I've been a mountain bike racer for a long time, with some success, of course, on the amateur level. Cat 1 Pro for many years. I just dropped down to Cat 2 as I'm 53-year-olds, just because, you know, in our area, there's a lot more guys racing Cat 2 than there is Cat 1 in my age group. If I ever get to a bigger race where there is a Cat 1 50 plus, count me in. Enough about my pedigree. This is the Team Marin 2. So this is a bike that's really impressed me for the cross-country race scene. It has more of a modern geometry and some really nice parts, all wrapped into a $2,500 price point. I do own GovVelo and Biloxi Bicycle Works, so I do sell a lot of mountain bikes. To me, it's hard to beat the value Marin puts into this bike for the price and the components. So, you know, right off the bat, and I'm not going to go into every component because you can look at the manual for that. This is more about how this bike rides at speed, and how this bike tackles multiple terrains, because, you know, cross-country race courses are changing. A lot more short course form, a lot more obstacles and stuff that really makes the spectators go, wow. So the courses are getting steep and deep and pretty hairy, and still you need to keep that speed. So, you know, the modern cross-country hardtail has got to be capable of doing more than it did 15 years ago when we were racing on natural race courses. It's machine built now, and they do it so, you know, the spectators can see some thrills. So, of course, this is on a Fox 34 step cast fork, 120 millimeters, very light, very lively, and, you know, a high-end fork. So, you know, you're getting a Fox step cast 34 on a $2,500 bike. Couple key features I want to go over here on this bike. It does have a SLX 12-speed drivetrain. That's a Shimano SLX. Very smooth shifting drivetrain with a Shimano XT rear derailleur. So, you know, these are some high-end, very capable parts that they're putting on this. The FSA crank with a direct mount chain ring on it. It's really cool too. So I believe it's a 34 in the front, and the back is a 1051. Awesome gear range for most cross-country race courses around the country. You do get a cool Tran-X dropper post. It's a very smooth and very easy action dropper post. And if you look at the weight of them, you know, most of the parts that they put on this bike are sturdy enough to handle the rigors of a cross-country course. Even a lot of trail riding, but yet still light enough that you can put this bike out on the race course and not feel like you're riding a slug. This bike actually feels very much the opposite. This bike is very lively. They do have a model one tier lower than this called the, Team Marin 1, and it comes in about $1,500. This one's $2,500, and you get a lot of bike. I mean, these TRP brakes really have impressed me. I've been a Shimano XT brake guy for years. If I can afford them, of course, I would like the XTRs. But TRP, it really has a very good action. So I really like the TRP brakes on this thing. All in all, you get a good component package. I believe it's a 180 rotor in the front or 160 in the back. We're getting ready to pack this bike up for a customer. So of course, this is just a video on the fly as I did my a nice test ride on this bike, and this bike just makes me happy. It brought me back to some memories of test riding this bike out at our local mountain bike trails here a while back ago, and I put this bike through the paces. At 53 years old, I ride a lot of full suspension mountain bikes. I'm doing a lot more trail riding than I am actual racing right now. But when I got on this bike, it brought my racing pedigree back. It just made my blood boil. This bike's fantastic. And I did call it a high school mountain bike race bike, on the NICA level. It's one of those bikes that parents can afford. It might be one of those bikes that parents afford after, buying a used bike and then having to put money in a drivetrain and suspension and then maybe getting a mid-level mountain bike. This is a race pedigree bike for $2,500. Marin has really dialed in the geometry with it. So I believe 40 on the front end, we've got a 15 millimeter axle, 135, and then 142 boost in the back, 12 millimeters, and with a 44 offset on the front. This bike has got the rake and the trail on it to make it very stable, very fast, very agile. I mean, they've really just dialed this bike in for someone that wants to do just that, cross-country racing. Even if your group rides are really fast, and we have some fast group rides out here at Bethel, down here in or outside of Biloxi, Mississippi. Speed is king. 29-inch wheels. They've got a nice rim package right off the bat. A lot of 14-gauge spokes, center spline. There's just a lot of nice features that you get on this bike for the money. So if you're at all interested in a very capable modern geometry cross-country bike at a great price point, it's definitely hard to beat the Marin Team Marin 2. Of course, you can find me. My name's Bart Luther, aka the Bicycle Rider. I am at Biloxi Bicycle Works, so if you have questions on this bike, call me at the shop. I'd be glad to point you in the right direction. And of course, this is brought to you by GovVelo. So GovVelo is our online platform where we're local boys. Local people that work in this bike shop, and we re-ride bikes. And if you order one of these for us, believe me, I'm going to go out and take it for a test ride just like I did this one. So there's a lucky customer getting ready to get this bike boxed up and shipped off to him tomorrow morning. Any questions? Like I said, my name's Bart Luther. Just hit me up at Biloxi Bicycle Works.